Hi, how are you doing? I'm here today with the shows I've watched recently, number 15. I can't believe we're number 15 already. This is going to be the big catch-up episode because if you know, you know that I have been absent for a couple of months, and if I add my list of shows I watched since I last talked to you, and it's a long ass list that would normally account for like 2 videos, maybe 3. I don't know exactly how many there are. So I'm combining them into one big video. It doesn't mean that this video is going to be a bit more casual just because one, this spans a long period of time. It's a lot of shows I watch. My memory is not going to be as fresh on these as I would like, but I am very excited to discuss them all with you. Let's start with the first show I watched, which is Miss Marvel. It's a 1 season long. Obviously, I was watching this as it came out. I really loved it. I know Miss Marvel did kind of get mixed reviews, which I can't guess why that is, but I read the Miss Marvel comics, and that's the first time in my Marvel experience where I read the comics before watching the piece of media. The only thing that's comparable is that I was reading the Hawkeye comics as the show was airing, so that kind of had a similar experience. But for Miss Marvel, I read a lot of the comics before watching the show. It made me very nervous for the show, but even though they made a lot of changes, I actually ended up really enjoying this one. That was really well done. It was a fun coming of age story, but also mixed with superhero stuff. I liked that a lot of it is everyday stuff, while on the same time also having a bigger threat towards the ending. And I really I love Kamala so much. Her character I love, but I feel the actress whose name I'm just blanking on, Iman Vellani, I think that's her name. I'm just sorry if I got that one. But she was made to be Miss Marvel, and it was such a joy to be able to watch her every week because you could tell that she had so much joy just making a show. Then next I watched Boo Bitch, which again is 1 season. It's a what's it called, a mini series on Netflix, and I watched this one because I saw Lana Condor promoting a lot because she's in it, obviously, and I thought the premise sounded interesting, and I thought it was a really fun show. It got very emotional. It's one that I just turned on for fun, and in the beginning it's very cringe. The humor can be very cringe at times, and it's a little bit I don't know, but I liked the friendship that was at the core of it, and then eventually we got into such emotional territory, and I binged this on one night, which also wasn't the intention. It's just so watchable. Next we have Only Murders in the Building season 2, which I really loved season 1, which was a surprise to me because I typically am not into crime shows, but this one I really loved. It's a mystery. Season 2 was absolutely brilliant. I really loved it. I liked it less than season 1 just because I feel season 1 felt more condensed and everything tied up with each other. It felt more neat because I feel with the first season they were we might only have 1 season, so we need to make everything complete, even though they left a little bit open to of course start a second season. But I feel with this one it was a little bit less focused because the potential of having multiple seasons was there. But I also really enjoyed it, and the ending of the season makes me very curious but also very excited about the third season, so hopefully that's coming soon. Another one that I watched as it was airing was High School Musical the series season 3. How I love this season. I'm one of the few people that really enjoyed season 2. A lot of people that don't really like it. I do agree that it's less good than the first season, but I still had a blast watching it. But there's a lot of people who do not like it, and then this season we all agree is the best season. No, there's some people who don't think it's the best season, but we all agree it got better again. It personally is my favorite season. I really loved it. It made me really emotional. I really loved the music in this one. I really like the camp setting. I think it worked really well for the show and what it's doing. I really like the different character progressions. This season made me care about characters that in the past I wasn't as invested in. I love this entire cast of characters, but I have my favorites. Everyone has their favorites. I feel this one did a good job at making me really deeply care for characters that I previously did not care as much for. Then next I watched Taskmaster season 13. Season 14 is also coming up, but I watched season 13. I watched this as it was coming out, and for some reason I prolonged watching the last season for a long time. I didn't like the last episode for a long time. I don't know why I did that. I thought season 13 was a great season. Taskmaster is my favorite show of all time. Not my favorite show of all time, it's my ultimate comfort show, and I really love watching it every time. And like I said, I really like this season. I don't have that much to say about it because season 14 is at the front of my mind, but that will be coming in a minute. And next I watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine season 1 through 8. I rewatched season 1 through 7, and then 8 was a new one because the last season was just recently dropped on Netflix here in Belgium, which is the way I have been watching it. And I have said to myself for a while that when the last season drops, I want to do a rewatch on the entire show. That's what I did. I really enjoyed it. I do think like it does like decline in quality as seasons continue, which I think is kind of like normal for shows that win this long. But yeah, there we go. So the next show that I'm talking about is Jane the Virgin, which I watched all 4 seasons here with my mom. Here's the thing about Jane the Virgin. I enjoyed the show. I have to say that, but I do know that I have very unpopular opinions of the show, which I'm not going to go into because we're all spoilery, but I've seen some like discourse online, I guess I'll say. I looked up some things about the Jane the Virgin fandom because I wanted to know people's reactions to certain things. So I know that my opinions on it are unpopular, but I have to say I like the show. I really liked it a lot. I love Jane as the main character. I love that the focus of the show is on Jane, her mom, and her grandmother. I really loved how the show was very over the top and dramatic, but still felt very realistic. I really loved how this show just like kind of like looked stylistically. Did a lot of fun things with that, and yeah, I really enjoyed the show. The next I watched Macmillions, which again is a limited series about it's a documentary series about like that, what's it called, like I don't remember what it's called, but you know the McDonald's Monopoly game? Like in the 90s, I believe there was like this whole like scam about it, and this is about that. I think that's a very interesting topic, and I've seen a couple of videos about it and I explain it terribly, I know. I've seen a couple of YouTube videos about it, and then I saw this was calling through like my streaming services one day, and so I decided to click on it, watch it. It reminded me of I don't like docuseries. I always think docuseries like go off topic way too much and they lose my interest. I always like love the first episode and I love the last episode, but like everything in between it's too much for me. I prefer even I don't watch a lot of documentaries, but like I prefer documentaries. I definitely think this could have been one instead of a docuseries because it got off topic a lot. Then next I watched SheHulk, Attorney at Law, which again 1 season, and I hope so badly that this gets a 2nd season. Same with Miss Marvel, by the way. I went with SheHulk desperately. This one felt almost like a TV show, like a comedy show, like a sitcom. Just in general, I love the fourth wall breaks. I love Jennifer Walters. That character is so amazing. And I just, the people who didn't like this, like stay pressed, like genuinely. This was a lot of fun. Like no, it's not like Marvel's best project, not best TV show at all, but it's a fun just like sitcom show following a superhero, and it's more like day-to-day stuff, and I really had a fun time watching it every week. And oh my god, that finale just like blew my mind. It broke not just the fourth wall, it broke every single wall ever made, and it's so meta, but I really love it. Then next I watched Family Reunion season 5, which I believe is also the last season from the show. I watched it when it came out. I don't like it as much. I do think this one kind of felt more like what I loved from like the first season when I started watching it. It's a show I watch with my mom every season, and I do think that if it wasn't for the fact that I watched it with my mom, I would have stopped watching it a while ago, because I feel like this one really dropped in quality a lot over the years. But I feel like season 5 was somewhat a return to form, because like I said, I think this is the last season, so I think they went in knowing it's the last season, so I feel like they kind of went back to their roots a little bit, and I really like that, even though I don't like it as much as the first season. And then I watched Reboot, which again only 1 season, but I really hope we'll get a 2nd season. This is such a fun show. It's a Hulu show, I believe. It's about a show from like the 90s being rebooted, and the cast and crew of the new show, and it's about kind of like old versus new a little bit, and I really like it. It's a really fun comedy show. I also think it has some great commentary on the industry and on reboots in general that I really enjoy, but also it's a really good comedic show with a lot of like hard-hitting moments. Then next I watched Taskmaster season 14. I watched this when it was coming out. No delays on this one. I really enjoyed this season. I think it's my 2nd favorite. My favorite obviously being season 7. That one is really well loved among the entire Taskmaster fandom. But I really enjoyed the season, which was a surprise. I didn't expect to enjoy the season as much as I did, but I did. I thought it was, there were some phenomenal tasks in this one. I really loved all of the contestants, and I genuinely laughed so much. And then last for today, I have Hawkeye season 1. Obviously it's a rewatch. This the damn season, as people say. I love Hawkeye. I love the show and I love the comics, and I was in the mood to rewatch it, you know. Disney has been, like Disney Plus, the Twitter account and the Marvel Twitter account have been promoting it so much this holiday season that it made me very suspicious that we're gonna get a season 2 announcement. It hasn't happened yet at point of filming. I actually don't think it's gonna happen, but I really want it to happen. And I had such a blast rewatching the show. I think it's so much fun. Like kind of already knowing what's going to happen and kind of like picking up on like things before that, and it's a fun show to watch. That's all I gotta say. Those are all the shows that I watched. I kind of made my cutting point like to the end of 2022. From 2022 onward, I'm gonna do a separate video. Those are gonna be, you know, because this is getting posted in February according to my schedule. I'm filming this at the end of December, so it might be that I finish some shows before this goes up, but those will be like back at the regular schedule, because I also didn't want this to be like too long and too many shows to talk about. Let me know in the comment below what you thought of these shows, if you watched them, and yeah.